Before we really get into backtesting, I would like to open by taking a moment and letting you know that there really are several methods and so many tools that can be used to assist you and help you to backtest. But backtesting can really just be done so simply and manually, really with just a pen and paper, where you go through the charts and taking every trade setup that your strategy allows, you simulate taking those trades and then writing down your trade results data and then calculate it, adding it up yourself. It can be done with a simple spreadsheet that you just go through the charts yourself. You find your setups and simulate taking a trade and then manually enter your trade results information into your spreadsheet and just let it calculate the data for you. Now, this is the way I usually backtest for only about 1,000 reasons. But with that said, there is no right or wrong way to do backtesting except for not doing it at all. Now, backtesting can also be done with an actual trading simulator where you go through the charts yourself and you actually take every trade setup that your strategy allows, and then the software calculates all of your trades and your account balance while you're in the simulation software. It's basically the same as the spreadsheet method, except there is no spreadsheet and all of the calculations and data recording is automated. And finally, backtesting can be done by coding your strategy parameters into an automated strategy tester and letting the EA or automated expert advisor find your setups and then calculate your win-loss ratios over a set period of time. With this option, there are many softwares that you don't even have to look back through the charts and see the trades it has taken. It does it all for you and lets you know if your strategy is profitable in that market over that period of time or not. And like I said, there is no right or wrong way. There is no best way to do it. I can tell you that my husband, son, and I have only ever used spreadsheets and the trading simulator ways of backtesting. And my personal spreadsheet that I use to craft strategies is actually available for download for people who have purchased this course. You can, of course, make your own spreadsheet. It's very simple. You can use Google Docs. You can use Excel. I use Excel. And the spreadsheet that I provide has all of the formulas for calculating your total win-loss ratios, what the difference between your pips won, pips lost, averaging how many pips you win per trade, how many pips you lose per trade, what your profit percentages and what your return on investment is. So all of the formulas are in there, and really all you have to put in on my spreadsheet is just notes for you of, what strategy or indicator you're testing, what the settings or maybe the rules that you've, got so that you could go back and recreate these results again. You list the pair and the time frame, and really the big part that you have to calculate is just counting how many trades you won, how many trades you lost, and adding up the number of pips you won or lost as you're going through. So it's really only, keeping up with a win or lose and the number of pips you won. And that's really all you have to put in the spreadsheet for it to calculate all of the numbers for you. If you use the simulator option, there are so many simulators that you can find by just using Google, and just Google, Forex trading simulator, Forex automated trading strategy tester. I mean, there's a lot of ways to Google that, but the one that we like the best is Soft 4FX simulator. And I'll have a link for you in the resources list for those who are in the course, so you can just kind of glance at it and it's right there at your fingertips for everyone. But that's the one, if we use a simulator, that's the one that we would use. You've probably heard the saying, the past repeats itself. And that is why you backtest, to chart out the history of setups that have happened in the past, and then not only to figure out the probability of those exact setups happening in the future, and therefore being able to somewhat predict with some statistical accuracy the outcome of that setup, but also to be able to visually recognize instantly when the market is setting up in a way that might trigger your entry. You also backtest, especially when you are in the strategy development process, in order to really see how your strategy performs. You want to see what to expect in the future, and you want to see what parts of your strategy really need refining to either help you lose less or to win more. I would absolutely say that backtesting is the weakest area for new traders. Either they don't know how to properly do it, or they are too lazy and have no developed self-discipline to do what it takes to really test out and refine a strategy, or they're just way too impatient and ready to just jump into trading, and they don't take the time to do this really, really important step. So on your trading chart, in order to backtest, you're going to select your currency pair. And that's what you're going to start out on, whatever pair that you think you're going to be trading, or one that's on your watch list. You want to select your currency pair, and then you want to go back in time to your chosen starting point. And you're going to do that by pressing the replay button once you get to that date. And in TradingView, this is kind of a TradingView graphic here. You'll remember I showed you the replay button is right up here at the top, and it says replay. And once you press replay, a line is going to come up on the screen, and you'll just drag that line to the point forward in the market that you want to say, okay, I want to test from this point in the market back. You would click your line right there, and it's going to make all of that disappear, and so that you're going forward blindly. And so the replay button is absolutely your friend. You need to learn how to use it. Once the replay button is pressed, this floating window comes up right here, and it's got all the controls of how to go forward in time automatically, or how to go forward in time one candle at a time. If you go automatically, how fast you want to go. You can reset where that line is. Let's say that you originally drew your line here, and so it erased here, and you say, oh, well, I want to go a little further back. Let me go back to here. If you press that button, it lets you reposition the line. It's really, really powerful, really cool, and I totally recommend that. And so you're going to use the replay button in TradingView to go back in time as far as you've chosen to backtest. If I'm backtesting on higher time frames like the 4-hour or the daily candle, I usually go back 2 to 3 years of every single pair that I'm trading. If I am backtesting on lower time frames, you might not have enough data available to backtest that far. So you may only be able to go back like a year or so, or even less if you're on really low time frames, like, you know, the 15-minute or the 3-minute. You may only be able to go back, you know, a couple months. And TradingView has some different plans that provide different levels of data with that, but you're going to have plenty to be able to go back, for, because if you're looking back on and testing on like the 3-minute or the 5-minute or the 15-minute, you're going to have about the same number of entries because there are more candles, that you're getting. So once you have done that, you're going to begin going forward in time using, these buttons that we just talked about on the bar. And you're going to go take every signal that your strategy or your algorithm allows you to take. So when you're looking at the chart, let's say that, you're going forward in time and that here was your line. And so you're looking and that here's an entry signal. And so before these candles right here are uncovered, you're going to say, okay, here I am at an entry at this point. You don't see any of the candles after that to the right yet. So you have no idea that price is just about to drop. You're blind testing. All you see is from here to the left. And so you say, I am in an entry, and on your screen, you draw out, you mark where your stop loss is, you mark where your, take profit is here, and you say, okay, I'm in a sell, and you take that sell and you press the forward button and you let that play out until you get to your exit, and you see, oh, I won that trade. And you know what? I picked up a cool 85 pips. That was awesome. My strategy worked out really, really well. And so then you're going to document that. And so you're just going to go forward, employ all your rules for your entries, your exits, your confluences. And when you get triggered to a trade, like I said, let it play out. Once you've done that, you're going to record the results. You're going to record the results every time a trade is closed out, whether you won or whether you lost. You're going to record which happened, whether it was a win or a loss, the number of pips you won. You would track, oh, I'm hitting, I hit take profit 2 or I hit take profit 3. If you're scaling out like that, whatever data you might want to track. I do track. If I'm taking, especially if I'm doing like fibs for management or something, I do track which take profit I'm hitting. If I hit take profit 3, take profit 4, take profit 1, because I may find a certain pair on a certain time frame never goes past, take profit 2 or take profit 3 before it retraces and hits a trailing stop loss and stops out. And so therefore I may choose to close out trades, more often than let runners run on a specific pair. And so that'll give you that kind of data. After you have, gone forward and documented that, again, you're going to total all of your overall wins and losses and divide those results by the total number of years or trades, to get your return on investment. And you want that average. And then as you're reviewing, your data and determining the statistical probability of the successfulness of your strategy, before you're ever wanting to head out to the live market, you want to refine any elements that is necessary. And then you want to repeat, these steps, go back and retest. I can't tell you the number of strategies. It was so cool, such cool strategies, that I have developed over the years, that we've had so much fun trading, that I had to go through these steps so many times. And I did not, I will cover this in other videos. I did not use an automatic tester. I did them by hand because I want that eye reticulation, and I freaking want to be an awesome trader. I came in knowing I was going to do exactly what it took, whatever it took, for however long it took. Then I was going to kick ass at trading. And so I didn't ever mind, the steps. I just looked at it all like it was just building this really solid foundation for me. And it has. I don't regret any of the time that I spent back testing. Matter of fact, it just made me confident to know that I know what I'm talking about, to know my strategy, and to go forward without, any hesitations with what I'm looking at probability wise. Now, remember that any win-loss ratio or return on investment numbers that you get in the backtesting environment is going to be somewhat lower in the live markets. So definitely don't go from backtesting directly to live trading. I would recommend you backtest. You need to then forward test your account, which we're about to go over in the next lesson. But truly, I'm telling you, a huge secret and power up when you are starting out. Most traders, once they get their strategy worked out, would be freaking shocked if they spent 1 hour in concentrated back testing each and every day on the same strategy, just going to a random place back in time, hitting that replay button and just starting marking their charts and going forward in time, marking their chart like they're taking a trade every time they see their strategy set up an exit and entry signal. Then they see if they win or lose. If people would apply themselves in this way, back testing every day, their trading skills would increase so freaking fast. They would begin to see the market. They would begin to have confidence and would be entrained to their strategy. And you would be so surprised at what your brain begins to see unconsciously that you aren't even aware of. Then couple, 1 hour of focused, uninterrupted, blind back testing every single day with 1 to 2 hours of live market demo trading every single day that you can for at least 8 weeks, most people would come into trading so freaking hot and wild that they would not even know what all the fuss is about losing trades. But you know what? People lose because of the many reasons that I've covered in this course, not the least of is that they don't have a fully complete strategy, which is the whole reason for this unit that we're in right now. They never actually test out their own strategy in backtesting, besides a few maybe half-ass attempts. Once they do have a strategy, they certainly don't spend the time blind backtesting every single day for a minimum of an hour. And most of them never make the time or commitment to show up in addition and paper trade the live markets every day as if they were trading their own personal money for 2 full months. I'm telling you, friends, if you want to be successful, you will listen and you will commit and do exactly that. You'll do exactly what I'm saying. I'm trying to save you time, and I want you to freaking come into these markets like a boss and enjoy what you're doing and fall in love with the process and genuinely come in successful right out of the gate. But you've got to do something different than what you've done in your life. You've got to apply yourself higher. You've got to push further. You've got to set your goals and commit to them harder. And you've got to want it more than you've wanted anything else, and take aligned, intuitive action every day to get yourself there. Now, we want you to have all the tools that you need to be successful and to support yourself. So I'm going to provide you with my backtesting spreadsheet that's available for download in the course if you sign up for the course, as well as let's go to the charts and backtest a few entries and log them on a spreadsheet now so you can see how that looks and you can see how to do that. When you backtest, you want to backtest every nuance and, all of the changes, different things that you can add or take away in your trading strategy to try to get better results, to either try to lose less money, to try to ride out trades longer, to try to leave less money on the table, to try to hone in or filter out your entries, how to get, a lot more clarity with your exits. There's a lot of different things that you can test out. If you do indicator trading, there's a million indicators that are fabulous to test out, and you want to test out every single one of them in different positions. Some of them can be baseline, some of them can be confluent, some of them can be exit indicators, some of them can be your entry in, signal. Indicators can be a whole lot of different things. Even if you're trading price action, you may choose a volume indicator or a baseline. Moving averages are very popular, for that. So there's a lot of different things that you can test in backtesting. But regardless of what is in your strategy, you want to, at a minimum, go through the charts. I recommend at least an hour a day and just blindly back into the market and test, going forward, just to really hone in not only your confidence, but your mind is so genius, and you will entrain to the market where you can actually start to feel the setups that you don't even realize, the information that you have soaked in and the knowledge and the experiential knowledge of, even if it's through back testing of losing and winning trades on different setups, your brain absorbs all of that. So in back testing, I have a spreadsheet here. And on one tab right here, this is the spreadsheet that is available for download in the course. And of course, obviously you can make your own. I have one tab for the trades and I have one tab for the data calculations. And right here on my screen, I just have both of these things just layered on my monitor, just so you can kind of see them both on the screen. And what I do for the spreadsheet when I am just tracking backtesting, I usually put the pair that I'm testing. I usually put the time frame that I'm testing, and then I usually write some notes about, the rules that I'm following, or what strategy I'm testing, or what settings, if I've changed something that I'm testing out. Maybe just a little note for myself if I ever need to go back. And then it's real simple. I do a column for wins and I do a column for losses. And what I put in here is the number of pips, because obviously if I enter a number in under the win, it's a win. And if I enter a number under the losses, it's a loss. So regardless, I'm able to count how many wins or losses I have by how many numbers are in each column without actually having to count wins or losses. So I just make it really, really simple. And I just calculate the total number of pips when I, am calculating how a strategy is performing and what my return on investment is. In this case, when you are back testing any strategy, again, you're coming in. I showed you, we kind of went over where the replay button on TradingView is. And just one thing, when you are back testing, you don't want to look at a chart and go, oh, well, of course I would have entered right here and I would have entered right here. And I'm, such a great trader. I would have wrote this whole thing out. And actually, I'm so good. I would have taken a counter trend trade, right here, and definitely would have gotten out right when the price, reversed there. So I would have taken that entire 418 pips, and then I still would have gotten in this short position here after price retrace. Well, of course you're going to get all of that looking in hindsight. You're going to say, of course I would have entered, of course I would have taken this entry here. I 100% would have caught this exactly right here. This is the trade. But when you are in the live market, there is a reason that there are not more people that are successful doing it, and it's because, again, everybody is a genius in hindsight. Everybody is a genius, but in the live market, it looks and feels totally different, and you aren't always able to recognize your setups 100%, and that's one of the reasons why we spend time back testing. And so again, I recommend that everybody just go into the charts to some random place, come back and hit that replay button. And just before I do that, if there is a certain date that you're wanting to go to, remember there's this go to button right here. And all you have to do is then type in the date you want right here and put go to, and it will take you to that exact date. Especially if you're testing, a certain strategy and you're trying to test for the last 3 years, just to really cover a lot of different market conditions, holidays, news releases, and really just see how your numbers pan out. You may have a specific date, or you might just go, no, I test on the daily and I go back 3 years every time, because I do go back. I try to go back as far as possible up into the current time frame, to test out all different market conditions when I'm testing a strategy. And in this case, hit that replay button. This blue line comes up, and wherever you place your line, everything to the right is going to disappear. And so do yourself a favor. Don't be trying to plot what to do next. Like, okay, I just saw the market move down, so let me move down. Like, don't cheat yourself. This isn't a test in high school where you have to write the answers on the palm of your hand. You need to know this. There is no shortcut. There is no cheating. Like, you are trying to learn so that you can master, that art of taking money and putting it in your pocket in a market that's not yours. This is an institutional trader's marketplace, and you're coming in, swimming in their pool, wanting to make some profit. So it's cool. But this part of this is helping you to hone and craft your skills. So don't short side or shortcut yourself. Go full out. Go some random place in the market and then start taking trades. Start marking up your chart, however your strategy is. And then as you go through, let's say that this was a setup and you go, okay, well, I am, seeing my signal for a short position. Position your stop loss. Where's your stop loss? Position your take profit, or where you would close your trade. And then go through, you can go through candle by candle. Let me zoom in just a little bit. You can go through candle by candle with this button right here, or you can go through and just push the play button and you can speed it up or slow it down, either one, and then just see what happens in the market. And now, honestly, we would have gotten stopped out right here. So in this case, our stop loss, wow, was 150 pips. And so you have to put in 150 pips here. And then let's say we came in and we bagged 450 pips here, and then we won 99 pips here. And then we came back and we, got in another trade and we lost 23 pips here, and then we lost 50 pips. But then we picked up 190 pips, and you just go down and place your trades as you're going through the market, and over and over and over again blindly enter, in the sense that you don't enter and you don't go, oh, well, I would have exited at that point. You don't get to count it unless you actually do it. And don't just say it in your mind of, oh, I'm in the trade. Mark it out. Mark your trade. This is where my stop loss is. This is where my take profit is, right here. And you can say, and matter of fact, I've got I'm taking 60% off right here. Here's take profit 1, and here's my trade exit. And if you want to have a running stop and test that out, go ahead and do that, but move it as it goes. When price moves up, you move up your target too, so that at the end you go, okay, this was a 1 to 9 risk reward, 1 to 8.5 right now. I won that. It was 650 pips. My stop loss was 76 pips. That was an excellent trade, and you could come over here and you can put down that you won 650 pips. And that's great because you actually did that, and you did it blindly. And you don't have to have a spreadsheet here. You can use, X's and check marks if you want to, of which ones you won and which ones you lost. You can have a text box that you drag along, and that says wins and loss, and how many pips or how many losses you have. You won 12 and you're now at, 1,324 pips, and you lost 12 and you won, let's say, 32, and you are up 21,140 pips, and you can keep up with it like that. And just as you're going through placing trades, you can, add it to your list. You can also have a list that just says, every trade won, 450, won, 99, loss, negative 150, loss, negative 23. And you can just take and run your totals and just move it, as price goes, and as you, have that where you're moving in the chart, you can move that. So it can be as complicated or as easy as you want. Now, a lot of times when I am just testing just for my own honing my skills, because I want to be really good at trading, and I desire that craft and to continue getting sharper and better and learning more, and I love the confidence, and I love to be able to speak about it and teach about it. And so a lot of times if I'm just doing it on my own, I don't necessarily use the spreadsheet, and I will just on my hour or 30 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, if I'm just back testing or if I'm just looking at a specific setup, I may just have a text box. But if I am testing, I run a spreadsheet, and this is exactly how I do it. Every single trade, I'm either doing a win or a loss. And then at the end, so let's say, I test it out. At the end, I go, here, let me actually make that bigger. And so I would come in from this spreadsheet. I would say, okay, I've done all my testing. I want to calculate my data. And so I would select all of my wins here, the whole column, even if it's, if it's this long, however many I have, I would select my wins. And if you look down here on the bottom, it tells you how many are selected. So I see that I have won 5, and let's select and see how many losses that we have. And we look down here and we've lost 4. And so we put that 4 right there. And then I just want to calculate the number of pips. And so I just choose a cell right underneath it. And I just want to say this cell is the sum. This on Excel, this is the one I choose. This is the sum of, and just select the cells that have your numbers in there and press your enter button. And so I won a total of 1,434 pips. And in this cell right here, you can have how many you lost. And this cell is the sum of these numbers here, and hit your enter button. And so I won 1,434 pips. I lost 269 pips. I won 5 trades. I lost 4 trades. And if I come over here to my data calculations tab, let me just scroll down here and find one. And let's just say I called this testing, and my settings were the H4. And let's just say I structure entry, and you know, I would put my rules here, and I would put the pair was Euro USD on the H4, and I would put whatever dates that I tested from. And so how many wins did we have? We had 5, and we had 4 losses. And so I would come in here and I would put 5 under the wins, 4 under the losses, and you see the formula is already telling me I have a 55% win ratio on that. And then I'm going to move over, and for the trades, I won 1,434 and I lost 269. And so I'm going to enter 1,434 under my pips won and 269 under my pips lost. And so I see though that my profit percentage is very high. It's a 68.41%, and that is a very high performing strategy. Now what I see is it's not a really huge win-loss ratio, but my risk to reward is really high on that. And like I said, I'm pulling about a 68%. So that's how I test. It's just that simple. But I am saying you need to put in the time and the effort to to test out your own trades, and to go in and spend the time back testing. Use this tool. TradingView makes it completely worth it, every penny. And go back and back test. Find your entries and say, okay, this is my entry. I'm in a trade. Oh, lost it. No big deal. Next. Okay, right now, I'm taking a entry right here. I think price. Oh, lost again. Next. And keep track of it and see what you see. And you're going to hone in your own skills, and you're going to get better and better. But don't skip on the back testing. Do your best to fall in love with the process.